everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do my 3-week wrap up. So my TBR should be up already, so you know that I've not been feeling good. Back pain issues, issues with my Ozempic. I just haven't been feeling good, and when I'm not feeling good, I really don't want to do anything. And so when I am feeling good, that's when I catch up on my work. I think I've lost another pound, so I'm down maybe 5 pounds total since I started. It's really starting to kick in now. I don't know why it's taken me so long, or my body so long, but that's the way my life goes. So anyways, I will do my wrap up. I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in the last couple of weeks. So I'm just going to have a tablet here for some of the things that I've read. So I'm pretty sure the last ones I finished were When You Give a Duke a Diamond by Shanna Gallen. I think I've already talked about that one. And The Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. So we're just going to start with Maya Banks' Whispers in the Dark. It is book 4 in the KGI series, so I can't really talk about this one. But, well, Burr, it was good. It was, they're a bunch of military and ex-military brothers. It's a big family. And they go on missions for the CIA, but the CIA does not acknowledge that they exist. They do secret missions. And this one, it was kind of, they have a mission to do, and the CIA is doing something behind their backs, and it's just, it kind of meshes. So I'm not going to go any further with that. So let that warm up. I gave that one a 4. And then I read Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I gave it a 4. This is about like a pandemic that hits this island. That there's only a school for girls on it, and it's called The Talks. And The Talks hits everybody differently. Some people grow extra spines. Some people get blisters in their mouths. Some people, well, actually not some people. Each person reacts differently to it. So it's about 2 or 3 girls who are friends and dealing with this Talks. I did like it. And I gave it a 3 because there are a couple of things that were just, I can't quite remember what it was that I had issues with. I think some of it was just a bit beyond belief, or you're kind of, was you left hanging? I can't remember. I just remember the basic plot line. So yeah, 3 stars. And then, let's see. I read 7 Years to Sin by Sylvia Day. It's, I gave it 4 stars. Was this a historical one? Yes, it was historical. A woman on the eve of her wedding watches her husband's best friend's little brother having sex with somebody and finding out that he sold his body to this woman. Fast forward 7 years, her husband has passed away a year before. You don't find out why until later, which was kind of irritating. And she is left this plantation, I forget where it was, it's in like the Bahamas sort of deal. And so she wants to go and see it. And she gets on his boat. And he has stayed away for a while. And it's explained why later on. But on the boat, things start to happen. And they realize that they've pined for each other since the day before her wedding. And they each didn't realize, But yeah, things start to happen. I gave it a 4. I did like the story. It was very intriguing how it was brought about. So. Then the next one I finished was Elevation by Stephen King. This was a really quick read. It made me cry. Not too many of Stephen King's books make me cry. I think this and Cujo. Cujo made me cry. And I won't read it again. I just can't. But this is about a man who's not dropping in size, but he's dropping in weight. And he has a doctor friend who's not practicing anymore, but he's the only one he can trust to talk to about it. And so they're trying to figure out what is going on with him. And cat sees a bird. So yeah, they're trying to figure out what's going on. It packs a powerful punch. Also, there are 2 women, a married couple, that own a restaurant, and one of them is friendly but quiet. The other one is very vocal about her status and is throwing it in everybody's faces and expecting them to either take it or leave it. And they own a restaurant. There's a whole thing. And there's a race. So yeah, I gave that one a 4. Then I read Fudge Cupcake Murder by Joanne Fluke. It is book 5 in the Hannah Swenson series. And I gave this a 3. So yeah, I gave Elevation 4. I give this a 3. I think I need to back off on these for a while. She is irritating. She is so irritating. Her sister's husband is up for election as the sheriff, and the town sheriff, who everybody hates, is up for re-election, and he does some things to get re-elected every time, which is kind of lowballing and backhanded, but so Hanson has to solve the murder of the sheriff because her brother-in-law is arrested for it. They think he did it. Most people don't think he did it, but the fact that Mike, one of her love interests, is one of the ones who said, sorry, you can't work this case because you're a suspect. She gets a hate on for him. Sorry, but he's doing his job. Like, come on. And they make it sound like nobody in law enforcement has ever done anything bad in their lives. So why did they even think that he is part of this murder? Wake up, Hannah. Things in life aren't perfect. So, yeah. Gave it a 3. And then I finished Forbidden by Beverly Jenkins. It's book 1 in the... I don't know what the series is called. Let's see. Old West. Sorry. Rhine is mentioned in a previous book by her. It's the book that his sister is in. So I have to go back and read that if I can get it. But I love this. Rhine is a mixed mulatto, if that's still a term. His dad was a white plantation owner. His mom was a black slave servant. They're free anyways. And he has a full brother with his dad, or half brother with his dad and his wife. So he can pass as white because his skin is so pale. So he does. He passes as a, very successful businessman. She is a free black, and this just takes place right after the Civil War. She is a black woman who is free and decides to leave her town because she wants to open a restaurant for herself in California, and they say that California is the best place to do it as a black woman. So on her way, she meets up with people that she catches rides with, and this one priest and his son give her a ride, and then as they get into the desert, he says, "You're gonna work for me." Her sister is they say it in the book, I really don't like the word, but she's a whore. And so she sells her body, and she's got 2 daughters. So her sister is no help to her. So the priest considers her somebody like that. And so he demands that she flip up her skirts, or else she gets out of the carriage, and he essentially robs her. So she's left for dead in the desert, and Ryan and his business partner find her and help her, and back to health, and things kind of go from there. I really enjoyed it. I love Beverly Jenkins' writing. It's so quick and easy, and you fly through it because it's so interesting. So I gave this a 5, I think. Yeah. Hi, Apollo. And then I read the Book of Cold Cases. No. Oh, yes, I had to bring that back. So I'm just going to hold this up. By Simone St. James. I had to bring it back to the library. It was due. It was overdue, actually. So the Book of Cold Cases was about a girl who has this cold case file blog, and there's a local case that happened 40 years ago where the parents were murdered, not at the same time, different murders, and they all think the daughter did it. So fast track 40 years, and this woman who's a nurse or secretary in a doctor's office meets the daughter, and so it kind of goes from there. But yeah, there's some twists and turns in that one, and I gave it a 5. Oh wow. You kind of see, as it's revealed, you kind of see where it's going, but then it'll twist again. So yeah. And then I finished The Sundown Motel by Simone James, and this is about a girl whose aunt goes missing 40 years in the past, and they don't know what happened to her. And so she decides to take time off from college because her mother had just died, and it was her mother's sister. And so she decides to go and find out what happened, if she can find out. So she decides, because there's an opening at the Sundown Motel where her aunt worked, she's going to take the position and see what she can figure out. Nothing has changed in 40 years in this hotel. There are, well, I mean, this one and the Book of Cold Cases are ghost stories. That's what Simone St. James is good for, is ghost stories. So things happen at this Sundown Motel, and it is a wild ride. I gave this one a 5 as well. So I'm not going to go too much into it because I just knew it was ghosts and it went missing. That's it. That's pretty much all you should know going into these. So yeah, give that a 5. Oh, sorry, nose itchy. The next one I finished was A Spell for Trouble by Esme Addison, and this one I gave 4 to. It is about if you like Practical Magic the movie, I haven't read the book, but I hear it's totally not even bother. But if you like Practical Magic the movie, this is kind of the same thing. Instead of 2 sisters and 2 aunts, it's 3 cousins. 2 of them are sisters, and 1 aunt. So a man comes into the apothecary because they sell, most people don't know, but they sell enchanted, like body scrubs and bath bombs and spray perfume and stuff like that. And so it's a booming apothecary. A man comes in, the aunt kind of goes nuts on him, and he leaves, and she goes somewhere that night, and he's murdered. And she will not say where she is. You find out later where she is and why she can't say where she was. But they think she killed this man because they might have had a history. And so she's not even allowed to go out in her garden because it was her stuff that poisoned him. So she's on complete house arrest. She can't even stand outside the door. And she's got the ankle monitor, and yeah, it's a whole thing. So the new cousin comes back to this town after her mother dies. No, after her father dies, because her mother died when she was younger. And her father didn't want her associating with her family in this town. And she couldn't figure out why. Hence Practical Magic sort of vibes. I did like the magic system, though, or not system. where it comes from. It's a different twist on stuff, so, but it's explained. So if you want to read it, I give it a 4. Yeah, a 4. And it's book 1 in the Enchanted Bay mystery, because that's where they are. They're in Enchanted Bay, or Bellamy Bay, but it's enchanted. Then I finished Warrior's Woman by Joanna Lindsey. It's the first book in Lysantar series. It's futuristic, but with technology, but it's different. Yes, I know it's problematic. Very problematic. It would never fly nowadays. It is about a woman who is one of the head security for this city. She has to go on this mission in a different city. So while she's gone from her city, a whole truckload of stuff happens in her city. And she cannot go back to it because all the security guards and all the women are being rounded up. And yeah, so one of her best friends helps her get away. And so she goes on this space voyage to try and do like different worlds, planets, trading with them while all the stuff on her world is happening. So she gets to this one world and there's this barbarian and he doesn't believe she is from a different world, planet. And he's very backwards in their thinking, like it's like caveman style. So some of the punishments that he does is not, it wouldn't fly right now. So keep that in mind, but I did love it for nostalgia reasons. I read this when it came out with my best friend. So if you know anything about my best friend, we used to sit in the same room, read our books. We were totally comfortable with not talking, but we would talk about books. So I miss her. I really do. And she died in 1995, and it's just past the anniversary of her death. So that was another reason I couldn't make any videos. It was hitting me harder this year. So anyways, I gave this a 5 just for nostalgia and because I do love the series. And I can get past some of the backwards stuff in it. So then I read, I'm going to have to show you one here. Hidden in Darkness by Alice Winters. You can see it a little bit there. It is LGBTQIA+. About a man who becomes blind and he calls him his babysitter. And let's see if I can make that bigger. There we go. But there's reasons why he goes blind, and it's heartbreaking with what happens with him. But you don't think you're gonna be into this gangster thing, drug lords. So Felix, as the babysitter, gives him a lot of snark and does not pity or sympathize with him, which gets him out of his pity party. And if you watch my TBR, you can understand. I love that because of one of my husband's really good friends on the day after we came back from our honeymoon rolled his truck by accident and is now paralyzed from the waist down, and they didn't give him any pity or sympathy. They gave him snark, and he had a lot of support around him, so he never had that pity party. And so I don't believe in the pity party when somebody becomes disabled. I mean, you sympathize with them. You don't not feel bad for them, but you don't sit there and feed into their pity or feed into their woe is me or do this for me because I can't do it for myself. Lane in here refuses to help, and Felix is like, yeah, but I'm going to give it to you because you can't do it by yourself on some things. Instances with he throws his canes, he's whacking people with a cane. It's funny, it's hilarious, it's funny. Some parts are a little bit over the top, I will admit, and there are some parts that are pretty graphic, but other than that, it was a really good story. I listened to it on audio. That's the only way I could get it. So I listened to it like in a day. And it's, how big was that? It is, I think it was a 9-hour audio. I think so. Yeah, I listened to it in like 2 sittings, one day and the other, like that. So I gave that a 4 because some of it was a little bit over the top. And then I read Once Upon a Winter's Eve by Tessa Dare. It's book 1.5 in the Spindle Cove series. And, oh no, I said enlarged cover. It is a very quick novella. Let's see if I can do it this time. There we go. About, I can't even remember their names now. Violet and Christian. So she's in Spindle Cove on the day before she has to go back to London because she's been there for a year. Her parents want her to marry. She's still thinking about the reason why she's there in Spindle Cove. Spindle Cove is a place where unruly females go to straighten out and do what their parents want them to do. Nobody does though. And while she's at this ball the night before she's leaving, a soldier, comes in, falls at her feet, speaking a different language, and she's very good with languages, so they get her to try to communicate with him, see where he's from, why he's there, that sort of deal. And it's very short, so that's as far as I'm going to go with it. I think I gave it a 4. Go away now. Yeah, I gave it a 4. And then I think there's just the 3 left that I finished, and I finished them in the last 2 days. Oh, this thing is so slow. Yeah, okay. These next books were going to be in my video. I can't believe I haven't read them yet. But they're due back in the library, and I haven't had time to film that video. So, the first one was Matilda by Roald Dahl. And I watched the movie, like, years ago. This was hilarious. I gave it a 5. There are a few similarities and a few differences from the movie to the book. But overall, it was quite the same. Prodigy girl who loves to read, goes to the library by herself, goes to school and meets up with Mrs. Honey, or Miss Honey, her teacher, and Miss Trunchbull, the headmistress. And things happen. If you've seen the movie, you know. But yeah, I gave this a 5. And then the last 2 books I finished. I've never seen the movie. I've never read the books. My husband is amazed that I've never watched the movie or read the books, because he did when he was a kid. And all I knew was a couple of kids win golden tickets to go into the factory. That's all I knew. I didn't, and Oompa Loompas. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything else about the story, and I was surprised. So it's Charlie in the Chocolate Factory and Charlie in the Great Glass Elevator. These are hilarious. I liked how it ended, like, especially this one. I liked how it went. 4 out of the 5 kids are spoiled. Charlie's the only one who's not, because he grows up very poor. And he's got 4 grandparents, his parents' parents. They have not been out of bed for 20 years. They all sleep in the same bed, which is kind of ew. But I mean, these are middle grade books, and they're meant to be way over the top. Yeah, so I really liked them. I gave them both 5 stars, so they were cute. So, currently reading. I'm still currently reading. Let's see if I can get this up, because I have to. Oops. Stop it. Why is technology being goofy? No, I didn't want that one. I am going to be starting Zombie Bride by Darren Shan because I have it already on ebook. And I probably will be starting Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld because I have it on audio from Hoopla. And that is my Million More Pages book. And then I'm still reading, because I haven't had a chance to finish these because I'm reading all those. Sky O'Malley by, I keep calling her Beatrice, but it's Bertrice Small. And Sharon Sala's Wild Hearts, it's book 1, Secrets and Lies. This is a woman in Ireland back in the 14 or 1600s who is promised to be married, and she doesn't want to marry him. She likes somebody else. And keep in mind, they're 14. But back then, that was the marriageable age, because middle age was pretty much the 20s. Like, you didn't have a very, very long lifespan. And so it's kind of cringeworthy. Oh no, she's 16. Her sisters have been married off at 14 and have babies. And her father has remarried 16, 17-year-olds. So yeah, bear that in mind. That it is kind of cringeworthy, but that's history. That was life back then. And then this one, I've only read the first chapter, if that. And I can't even remember it. Oh yes, somebody, bunch of kids are drunk driving and get into an accident, and one of them dies. And it's kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer sort of deal. Not that I've watched that movie, but I know the premise for it. So fast forward 30 years, things start happening and secrets are starting to come up. That is my massive wrap up. If you made it this far, kudos. So I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. It's Christmas time. Orders are kind of up and down. I had a big whole ton of them, and then it dies off, and that's what Etsy's been lately, and it's driving me nuts. But there's not much I can do about it. So that has been my wrap up for the last 3 weeks. It is quite a lot of books, but you know, I'm reading, so I'm trying to get through these. I sometimes go into reading modes where that's all I want to do, and then other times it's, I don't feel like reading. I think that's everybody. It's not a reading slump. It's winter. I want to read. So, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please hit the like button, and comment down below what you guys are reading, if you read any of these, if you liked them. If you didn't like them, I think that's it. So I hope to see you next week. Hopefully. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.